We're here at the Security of Things Forum. I'm Paul Roberts. I'm an editor at the Security Ledger, and we're here with Rishi Bhargava, who is the Director for Embedded Security at Intel Security. And Rishi just gave a great talk really about Intel Security's vision as a silicon and hardware provider for securing the Internet of Things. Rishi, if the last 20 years has been about software security, trying to harden operating systems, trying to harden applications. How does that change in the Internet of Things?
So, great question, Paul. I think the reason and why it changes really is, if you look at the last 20 years of software security, there was a root of trust, which was in the user who was using the device, which is your PC, and he was authenticating or she was authenticating with a username and a password. In the new world, the machine is talking to a machine. There is no user. So the software-based security model needs to be now added with a hardware root of trust to be able to say, yes, this device is actually not compromised. So the trust that used to come in from the human now needs to come from somewhere else, which we believe is from the hardware, and hardware-based security will become more prevalent.
Okay. And you said that in your presentation, obviously autonomous devices can't log in and enter a password. That's not a model that's going to work or scale. On the other hand, so the alternative people would say was, well, you just need certificates, right? So you need PKI. But we've seen issues with that, most recently with OpenSSL about problems with certificate reissuance and certificate management.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can't do logins and passwords. PKI, not a perfect solution. What then?
Yeah, so I think the approach is it might be a combination of some crypto certificate-based solution embedded with a hardware root of trust. So I think the biggest piece here is when a device is either requesting information from the cloud or is talking to the cloud, it needs to prove that the device is the device itself and has not been compromised. So could you do that with a hardware root of trust of some sort? Mm-hmm. I think that's where the real innovation will come from.
So we're seeing some of that now in the traditional endpoint space, especially with Windows 8 and its support for TPM, right? Okay, but you needed a big company like Microsoft to get behind it to get the penetration, right?
Or a company like Intel to be able to make it very easy for the device manufacturers to use these capabilities. And also the other side, which is not just the device, how do you make sure that the cloud stack also trusts this divided identity and you have a similar thing back from that cloud?
Okay. Internet of Things, there's a ton of experimentation. There are a lot of great, cool applications coming up through Indiegogo and Kickstarter, right? Security, probably not top on the feature list for those. That's not how you're going to get a lot of, donations and contributions. So how does a company like Intel penetrate into that particular type of ecosystem or environment?
Honestly, that is where it is a big challenge. So honestly, this is one of those things where security for an end consumer is like, what does security give me, right? Well, peace of mind, but that's okay. I mean, if I'm just getting my hand wearables, like security, big deal. That is where I think from an Intel perspective, you make the security a non-optional thing for the device manufacturer. You need to think of security as the third pillar in addition to manageability and connectivity. Once you do that, then the device manufacturer who's building a device and getting the money from Kickstarter is going to have security as one of the pieces. It's not the feature that sells, but it's there. Guess what? At the end of the run, when they have made the device and it's more secure, they can absolutely take that as a value prop above their competition if the competition does not have that. So there is a way to sell it. It's just that the consumer will not perceive it as the paramount thing to be.
Right. So they're not going to pay a premium for it, but that doesn't mean you can't make it easier to integrate it.
Unless some of the regulations change, right? I mean, if these device manufacturers have to start following certain government regulations for certain device categories like medical devices, then the game changes.
Can you make it, you being Intel, can you make it push button, or is it always going to require a certain level of developer experience, expertise, knowledge to be able to even leverage the stack that Intel's providing? And how do you solve that problem?
Yeah, so I think there is a lot of effort to make it push button like. I think from a developer perspective, it cannot be completely transparent because they need to code to a new API. If they're going to use certain crypto algorithms which uses TPM, they have to do that. So the key is to make the stack easy and easy and easy and give them these 4 steps you need to do. So we're working towards that. The developer just gets the stack and makes it easy to develop that application. To the end user, it needs to be transparent, right? Not even push button, right? End user doesn't care. I mean, when we look at the mobile devices now, you don't even know how much security has gone into that. You don't even know how many keys
Or not gone into.
not gone into that. But yeah, I mean, some of the device stacks right now have a lot of crypto. Some people have done a very good job. End user doesn't know. And I think that's the state we want to be in, because end user experience is completely transparent to what the security is in the device. The device developer needs to be able to do the security with ease.
None of those pop-up messages, none of those, sophisticated, authentication.
Decision making by the end user. You don't need to say, do you want to run this thing? No.
Right, yeah, because they're going to say, yeah.
It runs. If it is not trusted, it doesn't run.
Rishi, thank you so much for coming to the Security of Things conference, and you gave a great talk, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
It's been a pleasure and great effort.
Thank you so much.